So I think we are live now. So since we are live now, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I am Aya Adel. I am a volunteering member here in IHL group and law students, and I'm also an ex-Jasper of the year 2019. And here we have our very special guest, Professor Ivonei Souza, Professor of International Law and Human Rights Law. He holds an LLB from Pontifical Catholic University of Rio Grande do Sul. He's an ex-Jasper himself as well, and he's even was awarded with the 2020 Friend of Jessup Award, the Brazilian edition. So lately we've been receiving many questions related to moot courts in general and especially or specifically the Jessup competition. So, like for example, its importance, what should we do, what can we prepare, these kind of questions. And here we have Professor Ivonei was very kind to accept our invitation and come to talk about all of these and questions and answer it during the live and basically during the live. So, Professor, can you please further introduce yourself?
Well, thank you very much, Aya, for the invitation from you and from Nurhan. It's a pleasure to be with you all. I met you both a few weeks ago in a meeting with the IHL group from URGS here from Brazil. So it's a pleasure to be once again with you and talk about an event that changes lives, changed mine, changed yours, changed many lives. That it's the Jessup competition. So as you introduced me, I am professor of international human rights law from Parimum, Instituto de Investigación y Debate em Derecho, and I am lawyer here in Brazil, in the south of Brazil. So these are my activities mainly. So considering Jessup, why I just mentioned that Jessup changes lives, changed mine, changed many lives, and still changing lives. Well, how I met Jessup, how it was my meeting with this such great event that changed lives. My connection with Jessup started 11 years ago in 2009 when I was a law student from the second semester, from the first law of school, my first year of law school. And on that moment, I was in a lecture about public international law, and my professor told us that there was a big event that another professor of international law from my institution was organizing a team, and so he was sharing the event for all the people interested. So I got very interested. I researched about in the internet, and I enjoyed very much how it worked, how it was a competition. And me, together with my other three classmates, we got in contact with this professor that was organizing the team. That was Professor Guilherme Jäger, was just a competitor like 21, 22 years ago. So he wanted to create a team, but when we met him, he had already formed the team from the institution, but he told us that, well, maybe next year you could be part of our team, no problem, but next year we can talk about this competition more properly. So we got this message from him, and so we have done our action. So the next year, in 2010, we contacted him, and he told us, well, I'm not this year, I'm not prepared to be a coach as well and to organize a team because I have many other tasks to do. But there's another profession that can give some orientation to you. And we searched his professor, but his professor was not very able to he didn't have too much time to spend to dedicate for our team. So me together with two friends, we started to do our preparation on that year of 2010, or 10 years ago. So it was when we got in touch with Jessup, we got in contact. So it was like working in the dark because it was very new for us. On that moment, 10 years ago, when you talk about moot courts here in the south of Brazil, was like, I used to say here, it was like a foreign unknown language here because few people knew about what was a moot court. Now it's more popular here, especially the moots from arbitration law are very popular here in the south of Brazil. But on that moment, 10 years ago, talk about moot court, few people knew about what was this kind of event. So for us was very new too. We only got in touch with a few people that who had participated in past editions. So for us, what was also a work in the dark was very new for us. So our first preparation was very how I say, as I mentioned, a work in the dark. So it was very new for us. But so we competed for the first time in Jessup 2011, and that edition was very special for us. Was our first contact with the Jessup. We were very new for the competition, and that moment the Brazilian edition had only, if I'm mistaken, in the total 6 teams only in the national Brazilian edition. So it was a very small competition, but was very good that experience for us because that experience especially showed us how Jessup could change our way of seeing and researching public international law. So that moment was a great. We suffered a great impact, a positive impact, by participating in the Jessup Moot Court competition for the first time. So was everything new for us? Was very good. From that moment on, I got very impressed by the competition, how the teams, more experienced teams, worked with this competition. So for us was a very positive impact being part of this Brazilian competition on Jessup 2011. It was very impressive. From that moment on, I decided, well, this competition I will be part from now on. So from now on, I will only be dedicated for this competition till the end of my law school. So that was my first edition, and from that moment on, I participated as an oralist. So in Jessup 2011, Jessup 2012, Jessup 2013. So 3 editions I participated as an oralist, and the Jessup 2014 I participated as a coach, and from the Jessup 2015, from that moment until now, I participated as a judge. All these 3 positions were very special for me because each position you have one single view of the competition, one very special view from the competition, how you can see the roles of the competition. It's very special to have this changing of positions during the competition because, for example, as an oralist, you have that feeling you must show your knowledge. You want to prove yourself that you are able to show a great knowledge of public international law. As a coach, you have to manage the team, manage many profiles, many people with different styles of working, different styles of how we used to say, of researching, of writing, of living among them. So it's a very richful experience to be a coach. And as a judge, after all these 2 experiences, you have to uh, you have to manage also the works that you are watching in front of you. So when you're watching uh, a good hour list, you many thoughts go on your head. So or also when you have a not so good hour list, you also must put in the balance what happened with that team, what could be better, how can you give some advices for that team. So all of these three positions are very singular one. You also learn a lot of doing these three positions, especially as a Jessup. I enjoy the most the experience as an artist, because as an artist you can you have all that work from many weeks, many days working, researching about one case, and you want to share what you have learned to specialists, and that's a proof to you that if you are able or not to stand for what you researched for. So it's a very good for me was the best experience as an artist, but I enjoyed the most the experience as a coach and as a judge. For me the most challenging experience was be coach. Why be coach was very challenging experience? Because managing managing different profiles, managing different people from in the same group. It's a very hard task sometimes. But I learned a lot about this experience. So it was very grateful to be a coach as well. But it's a very for me was the hardest and the challenging experience to be a coach. Always when I talk to judges, I always say, "Well, congratulations, more than the whole team, because your work was very hard to manage such teams and to this team to work very well. So congratulations for your work to managing all these talents, all these students." And as a judge, every year it's a different learning about the competition, because what happens when you are a judge? You have the comfortable position. So you are the most comfortable position on the whole competition is the judge. So the judge, for example, when we register as a judge, we receive the bench memorandum, which is the the analysis of the compromise. So you have this analysis brought by the user. So it's very good. But what happens when you go to the oral rounds? You every year, it's certainly every year you see new good arguments that are not in this bench memorandum. That is very good. That is very good. Some very impressive arguments, very impressive thesis, well constructed, well done by the oralists. Every year, I I always see this phenomenon each round. So that's why it's very fascinating to be a judge. So as a judge, when you read the compromise, you have one impression. When you read the bench memoranda, you have another impression. And you go to the oral rounds, you have the third impression of the compromise. So it's very good to be judge as well. It's a very comfortable position. And it's very good to see and watch the oralists, because it's the same sensation that when you were an artist years ago. So it's like a flashback. It's like a flashback on your mind. Very good to see that artist nervous or not so nervous or very comfortable. So it's a very good position. It's like every year when I go to judging Brazilian rounds, it's like a flashback when I was an artist. It was years ago. So it's very, very good, very good, very good experience as well. Do you have any question? Your mic is off.
We have some questions. Yes, I believe the first question was, if you are as a student in the mooting experience itself, in the Jessup experience, how can I benefit the most from the experience? If there is any steps a student should make to have to well establish a good argument and enhance perhaps his skills and the mooting skills, pleading skills, etc.
A great question. First of all, you must have a very strong basis of public international law and the main issues of the public international law. So it's like a fortress of knowledge. So your basis must be very strong about some issues, especially, for example, the sources of international law, the law of treaties, and the state responsibility. So these three topics you must be you must have a very strong basis. From this moment, when you have these three pillars very strong, you are able to construct your argument. You are able to see other points of view and to build a great argument. So sometimes I see great pieces, especially when I am I am reading memorials, for example, but I see sometimes that the basis is not good. Sometimes they slaps in some errors of basic knowledge of international law. So you must avoid these basic mistakes, basic errors of about public international law. So to have a good benefit, for example, if you are a first year law student and you are getting now in a Jessup team. So my advice is study a lot about these three pillars: sources of international law, law of treaties, and state responsibility. So with these three pillars very strong, you are able to see and to create good arguments, strong arguments to the Jessup. And to benefit from the most Jessup experience, to complement, apart from this technical issue, I think you must have a great, how do I say, a great bond with your team members. This is very important. You must have an excellent relationship with your team members, because it's a team that is being there. So it's not a personal talent that would be not only a personal good talent that it's shown before the competition, but it's the team. So you must have a great team relationship, a very good team coordination, very good teamwork, an excellent teamwork. So I think you knowing very well your mates and your co-agents, it's essential for a good for a good experience in Jessup. So I think that's a very good, interesting point and a very important point for to have a benefit. So study these three pillars and to have a very excellent relationship with your team members. I think it's this. There's another question, Aya.
Yes, there is another question. Maybe it may sound a little bit repetitive, but it might. Some students were asking about what exactly, we know that, the field state responsibility, for example, but as young law students, they don't know the actual material or where they can access the best of this material. So if you, Professor, can recommend any perhaps document they can read regarding for perhaps a state responsibility?
Great. First of all, the main document that you must search is the ILC draft articles on state responsibility with commentaries. It's available online on the ILC website, ILC, International Law Commission from the UN. So that's a very important document that it's always mentioned in the competitions, in memorials. So this document, it's very important to know about it. It's very important to have it with you. It's very important to know it by heart, the articles, the main concepts that are available there, that are stated there. So that's a very important document. And this document, the IOC draft articles on state responsibilities with commentaries, the commentaries, they show a lot of case law that it's commonly used in Jessup memorials, in the Jessup all around. So the commentaries are a piece of gold for of law students that are Jessupers. So it's a very, very important document. And concerning the other sources as well, there is also a very a very good document uh, uh, that is available on the ICJ website, the International Court of Justice. That is the ICJ Handbook of Case Law that you can download, that you can have it. It's when you enter in the ICJ website. There is there the if you go below there, you can see the ICJ Handbook of Cases. So it's a very, very important document. There is this document is it's a brief of all cases judged by the ICJ. Is sometimes it's renewed. There are renewed editions each two or each year. They renew the edition, so it's a very, very important document. So these documents are very, very important to have it and to know it, to get in touch with these issues and these themes about public international law. And concerning sources of international law, I think that some manuals very important, are very good to have it studying the sources. For example, the Malcolm Shaw, for example, the international law. It's a very impressive, a very good manual. The Ian Brownlee, for example, the Principles of Public International Law from Ian Brownlee, also great book to have it. So concerning sources of international law and law of treaties, I think that are these documents very, very important to have it with the teams.
Mhm. Um, we have another question here. Just a second. The other question is regarding the skills itself. How I know skills, it's very practical thing. So they were asking how should they acquire, for example, if you have any tips regarding how to have the best pleading, for example, or how to have an actual good pleading skills during the process.
Yes, as you mentioned, Aya, it's you acquire these skills practicing a lot, but also watching a lot. So it's very important to watch some videos that are available about the oral rounds. So you must watch a lot. Some you must see also that are different styles of doing the pleadings. You must see what's your best way, what is the style that fits on you. So this is a very important. So in my opinion, to have, so these skills are mostly practical issue. It's a most, you must practice a lot with your team members alone to watch and see what is the your best way of doing this your speech as well. You must organize very well your speech. First of all, you must organize your ideas very well. Sometimes you have in or around pleadings very well constructed, very well not constructed, but very with very good references of law, very good references of facts. But sometimes it's not very good organized. Sometimes the judges got confused when watching. Sometimes the judge is asking to understand what's going on with the argument, because sometimes the ideas are not clear. So first of all, you must organize and settle your ideas very well to the pleading. The style, how you organize the ideas can changes. For example, in my when I was oralist, for example, I used to organize all my ideas as like an index to the judges. So I was like, I when I got to the judges, I said, hey, judges, I will expose my arguments basically in three main topics here from now on. First of all, second, and the third. Now I will explain all these topics. So that was my way of doing. But you are not obliged to do so. You are not obliged to do so. You can do for other ways of doing. You can only speak, but speaking very organized and pausedly and very clear ideas also are excellent. It's excellent too. There's not a rigid formula to follow up about how you organize the speech. You have styles of organizing your speech. So choose your style, watch different styles, and see what is your what style fits on you. What style fits on you. I think that's it's most. But you must have clear ideas. And first of all, a very good point to bear in mind when doing your pleadings. Please, when you are speaking before the court, before the judges, please do some shifts and marks about the topics that you are talking before the court. You can do just doing a pause or saying, now I will move to my second argument. It's very important to settle these shifts and these marks because sometimes the judges got confused. They don't know if you are going to the second or the third argument, but please do some shifts. Establish your shifts and marks on your speech. It's very important because the judges can understand very well and they can be yes, and they can be how I used to say they can be connected with your pleadings and your arguments. It's my pleading tip. It's do shifts of your arguments. Do shifts about your pleadings. It's very important. The forms of doing this you can choose, as I mentioned, by doing a pause or saying, now I will move to my second argument or to the third argument. So that's a very important tip for the pleadings.
Actually, this brings back so many memories about being part of as a Jessup or list. So the next question is actually related to coaching the Jessup team or being a team advisor. They were asking if you, Professor, have any tips regarding how to have a good coaching experience, how to deal with your team members, what method should I follow, and how to correctly correct them, perhaps with respect if there is something wrong, how to draw limits, perhaps these kinds of skills.
Great question. Because my experience as a coach was for I think for 6 or 7 months. I coached together with my co-agent, my co-agent Maura, who is a great friend of mine. And for 6 months was very tough for us to manage all these people together. After my experience, as a coach, I would say that the first tip for doing to be a good coach, it's know very well the team that you are coaching. First of all, it's very important to know how each member works, how each member researches, do research. So it's very important to know your team members. It's very important to know. So after this, you are able to manage your team. So my main tip is know by heart each member and how the team works. So to do the second point that this question mentioned about how to act when the teams are doing a work not very good and a work that it's going to the wrong way of saying, you must tell them you must tell the group that the group is doing wrong and explain them why it's doing wrong, why it's not working, and show your experiences, your prior experience as a Jessup, that this way that they are doing, why this way is wrong. You must show your example, you show them that why is not wrong. And you must show by example. Sometimes just saying is not, sometimes the team ignores or something like that. But you must show the example. You must show them why it's wrong. Show examples why it's wrong. Show past memorials or anything like that, or past score sheets. Show them that why is not wrong this, why is wrong this way. So I think that it's the main tip for correcting the team when the team is going to the wrong way of researching or working together. Sometimes it's the teamwork is not good, so you must show the example. Oh, look, there's a team that competed with me that has like a good way of working like this. Please do like this. So you must show the example, and the team must see this example as a standard for them. I think that's the main tips for coaching: knowing the team and showing examples.
I think as our time is actually almost done, this is a very general question, or perhaps a more of a clarification more than a question. Here in Middle East, we have mostly we don't in our universities we don't have moot court courses. We don't have these things. So when students trying to apply for moot courts competition, the only way was actually to acquire the mooting experience or to acquire pleading skills or to get to know actual international law or arbitration or any kind of these skills is through actually moot court competitions. So here in the Middle East, most students are hesitant about the importance of moot courts within the legally speaking, and the importance of mooting in general for being a good law student. They just perhaps question the importance of mooting, or maybe they over they think this will affect their studying. So, if you can just please clarify, just as a good final of our words, the actual importance of moving, so that they can actually understand how important it is for being a good law student.
Great impression. It's understanding the importance of mood here in the south of Brazil on that moment, 11 years ago, was also a very challenge way of. It was very challenging for us to show to the also to some professors, some professionals here, that why mooting is so important. And why mooting is so important? Because mooting, it's an experience that you have to go beyond the classroom. You can build the knowledge by your own and build a knowledge that it's not shown in the classroom. So the topics that are shown in a Jessup competition, for example, you won't see with so many depth in the classroom. So that's the moment that you can research a lot about some topic. And so technically, that's the first good point of being part of moot courts. The second point, you will also have the chance to have a strong group work. You have the experience doing uh, of doing a work in a group. So you will challenge yourself how you can live with other people for weeks, months. So it's a very good experience for team working. It's a very importance for your career as well. So after, when you graduate in law school, for example, you will face some experience of working group, team working. It's very important. So that's a moment that you will have to participate in Jessup, you will have this experience to of team working as well. And also the third point, that you will meet other people from other for other countries. For example, some judges come from other countries to judge Brazilian rounds. So it's a very good experience to have contact with these professionals. And also it's very good also to have contact with other teams too, because many the public that goes to that it's part of Jessup is always students dedicated, is always students that want to build their knowledge beyond the classroom. So it's a very good moment to create nets and bonds with other law students that futurely will be great professionals as well. So you will have a great networking along the years. Myself, for example, all the Jessupers that competed with me in the 3 years as an artist are nowadays great professionals here in Brazil and also abroad. So, and we all have this networking very good, very well, and all of them say that Jessup was a fundamental experience to do so, to do a great networking, to build their knowledge, a knowledge that it's beyond what's shown in a classroom. So it's very important this moment. I have one experience very clear that showed me how Jessup was important. It was 7 years ago when I was selected to do a course in Munich, in the University of Munich in Germany. It was a very concurrent process of selection there to be part of this course. The name of the course is Munich Advanced Course of International Law. Very good course. I always recommend. It's very good course. It was it was a very concurrent and hard process of selection to be part of this course, and to be in this selection, you must submit some documents, for example, your resume, letters of recommendation, and many other issues. And when the course when the course finished, I was talking with the students and the professors that organized the course, and they were talking that it was very surprisingly that was one of the students selected that participated in the Jessup for 3 times, and they were very surprised. And I got it. I got it. I think it's me. So I asked them. So it's a student from Brazil. Yes, it's a student from Brazil that participated 3 times in Jessup. We got very impressed. How 3 times it's possible to be part Jessup? And I told them, no, it's me. It's me. It's the Brazilian student that participated 3 times as an artist. It's me. And they got very surprised. How is that possible to be part 3 times in Jessup? And I told them, well, it's not very non-competition in my city, so the university is not interested. So it's we organized it ourselves as students, and we enrolled to the competition. And they got, wow, it's very impressive, because here in Germany, for example, the process of selection of students, it's like 3-4 months sometimes, and like 50 or 60 candidates for the team. So it's a long process of selection here, and it's very hard to have it's very hard that it's very uncommon. It's very uncommon that a student repeat its position as a team member, because are a lot of candidates that want to be part of the team. So we always renew the team. So it's a long process of selection. The university gives support to the selection, gives support of of money by enrolling the team. So it's other situation. And I got very impressed. Wow, in Brazil here, many people don't know the competition. Sometimes they ignore the competition. Some professionals don't understand why this competition is important. And I got in Germany impressed by how there in other country this competition is so important. And there are many stories of how Jessup is important. If I'm mistaken, there is a very famous story that I think it was in the case of Georgia versus Russia in the ICJ, that during the pleadings in the ICJ, the two earliest, the first from Russia and the first from Georgia, were Jessuper participants. So it's very impressive. So how this competition works, and Jessup also. Uh, uh, from now on, here in Brazil, is a competition more known here. But as I told you, 10, 11 years ago, was not very common. Sometimes people didn't understand very well. So mooting is very important for these experiences. So if you want to apply for example, an LLM in Europe, for example, Jessup experience is very strong in your resume. It's very strong to have in your resume. So I think that this is important of being part of mooting. I think it's my answer. Other questions?
Yeah. I think we're out of questions and we're actually out of time, but this was super, super beneficial. Thank you very much. And thank you for actually inviting, and thank you for your time, and thank you for this precious knowledge. We truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you. And to end this live, I would like to just to end it with Jessup not just doesn't only give you knowledge, it also gives you enough skills that enable you to further on or in the future to acquire such knowledge by yourself. The skills itself, the skills of mooting itself, the skill of acquiring the knowledge, the research, everything, the skills you require or you acquire during the process is so much more important than the knowledge itself. And during this hard COVID-19 time, I know that the Jessup now it's not international. It is international, but there's no traveling and there is no this lovely, beautiful traveling experience. However, I believe that even if it's not all about, it's not, it will not be held in Washington, DC this time, and there would not be travel, they will not travel, it will still be super beneficial because everyone will get the chance to have the international experience and get to know how students will actually think abroad and get to know all of these lovely arguments. And I hope everyone just participate and hope everyone engage, and I hope everyone get the most benefit of this lovely experience. And thank you very much, Professor, for your time again. Thank you. And if any of you guys have any questions, please just you can write it down below, or you can just send it for us via mail or by messenger, for example, and we will do our best to help you answer all of these questions and inquiries. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you very much for your kind of words. So it's a pleasure for me with you all. And I'm available if any students have any other questions, can inbox me. There's no problem. I'm totally available to get in touch with other students. It's a pleasure always for me to talk about Jessup. Jessup changed my life, changed yours, so changed many lives, and it's still changing lives. So for me, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I hope that you invite other Jessupers from other parts of the world to share their knowledge, share their experience with you all. So I'm available. Thank you very much for your invitation.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Bye. Hi, everyone.
Bye-bye.